You're back.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. So, welcome to Comfort Legacies with Faye Michelle. And today we have our beautiful guest, Miss Dr. Carjie Scott. And she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and we can go on a journey with her.
Thank you so much for hosting me this afternoon. Faye Michelle, I am delighted to be here with you today. I love your energy and your spirit.
Thank you.
So, I am a new author. I recently wrote a book called You Are Accepted: How to Get Accepted into College and Life. And I am so proud to share that in just 2 weeks, it has already become an Amazon bestseller.
Wow, that is awesome. So, is this your first book?
Yes, it is.
Really? Okay,
Mhm.
so everybody's going to want to know, how did you do that? How did it become a number one bestseller for Amazon right away?
Yeah, so we reached number 45 in the education theory category. So it reached the top 50. And prior to writing the book, I have had a blog. So I've been blogging now for 3 years,
Mhm.
blogging about all things education, equity, and some spirituality and motivation as well. So I already had an audience. I guess that they were just waiting on something that they could buy because I was giving out a lot of free information. So
That's
it
a
really
good
it
point.
helped that I already had an audience.
Oh, so you were providing that value long before.
Hmm.
Okay, so you grew that audience pretty big. What would you say your email list is like?
Yeah, so the blog has had over 60,000 hits,
Huh?
and currently subscribed, I have over 200 subscribers.
Oh, wow. Yes,
And then
they
I have over 10,000 followers across my social media platforms.
Okay, okay. So what's the name of your blog?
It's carjiescott.com,
Mm,
CARJIESCOTT.com. And that's also where you can learn more about the book. I have a press release and a media kit and other articles that I've written. It's all on that blog.
okay. Yes, and you have a press release coming up in the next couple of days, right?
Yeah, so I am attending an event in Atlanta, a book signing. We already had a book signing in Gainesville, Florida, which is where my publishing team is currently, their main office. And we will have a book signing on May 29th at Book Boutique in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. So tell me about because this is all about self-publishing and helping our publishers. How did you get started and how did you select your literary agency or did you do it all yourself?
Yeah, so I wrote the book. And then I wanted to find other people that I could partner with to make my vision come to life. I was looking for, since I already had an audience and I already had a manuscript, I really needed someone to critique my writing and ensure that the message would be beneficial to my target audience. And I shopped around and found 3 different agencies, but I decided to go with a group of women, 2 women from MTE Publishing, because not only did they appreciate what I was writing about, but I felt connected with them. I was sold on them more so than their publishing company. And it worked out, and we are still working together now.
Oh, okay. All right. So they and what's the name of that publishing company again?
MTE, which is More Than Expected Publishing, and it's in Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, okay. All right. So and now when did it publish? When
Yes,
did you
on 4321, actually, on April 3rd, 2021. It
Oh,
became
yeah.
available for sale everywhere books are sold. So not only is it available on Amazon, but it's also available at Barnes and Noble or your favorite bookseller.
Okay. All right. So was that well the publishing literary agency was responsible for getting that out to the market, right?
Yes, yes. So the agency, they got the ISBNs, they got it copywritten, they did my book cover, they did my editing, they assessed my current website and made suggestions on how I could make improvements to it to debut the work in the marketplace. They created my social media campaign And they've just held my hand throughout this entire process. I consider them members of my family now. They're both excellent, Kendra and Victoria of MTE Publishing.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, that'll be great information for people that are looking for, the self-publishing in a literary space like that, because what I experience is so many different ways of publishing your book. You can go hybrid, you can do it yourself, and you can have someone just handling the marketing part or just someone doing the editing part. So that's what this platform is all about, just teaching everybody the many ways of self-publishing and what works for you. So do you have a copy of your book?
Absolutely. Here it is. Here you are accepted, how to get accepted into college and life. And the foreword is actually written by Rosetta Miller Perry, who is the CEO of Tennessee Tribune newspaper, which is a Black-owned newspaper in Nashville, Tennessee. She's a woman and she is my mentor. And so I was so grateful that she was willing to write the foreword for me.
Oh, yes, I did see that, an article that you sent me. So that was really great. So who would you say your audience is for your blog? Is it moms or teens, since the book is about how to get into colleges? How do you come up with that?
Yeah, so the blog audience as well as the book audience, they mirror each other. And my intention was to write for college graduates and college decision makers. So high schoolers will soon be college graduates if they attend college. And then college decision makers are people who work in the colleges, because the book chronicles over over 15 years, almost 20 years of my experience working as an admissions director. I also had a role as an academic director as well. And it talks about some of the pitfalls I faced working as a woman, a Black woman in higher education. And it talks about some of the issues that I had to fight against to work for a more inclusive work environment and a more inclusive school environment for minority students. My heart, I exist, I believe my purpose is to fight for Black students, students of color, students who look like me, students who come from minority backgrounds, because I am a first generation college student and I know how hard it was when I was in school to thrive. So I want kids to not only start school, but stay in school and graduate and become gainfully employed. So that's what this book is about. All of those issues that I faced and how I worked to fix things.
Okay, so if a young student were to get your book, what type of advice, how would they take something from your book and make it their own and excel?
Absolutely. So one of the best things in this book is a table that I have that describes a class profile. Have you ever heard of a class profile?
No, not really. I don't think so. Not in that term.
Okay. So when students are applying to school, they want to know, am I going to get admitted? How much money am I going to get? And am I going to fit in? Those are the main questions that I get, or some variation of those words. So the class profile that I provide, it tells students about how many students are admitted based upon their residency, how many students are based upon their gender, how many students are admitted based upon their test scores, their AC, and their GPAs, so that they are made aware of who they need to be admitted, or rather what they need to have to be admitted.
Oh, okay. So
a new student who's considering college would find value from knowing the class profile of the college that they are trying to attend, because they can look at themselves to see if they have that average GPA, that average test score, what types of scholarships are available based on gender or race or residency. I have a really easy to read and understand table in the book. And that's something that most people don't know that colleges use to admit and give awards to students as a class profile. And you can ask your admissions counselor about the class profile. Like you can ask them, what is the average GPA of students that you admit? And based on that GPA, how many of them get a full scholarship? How many get a partial scholarship? Things of that nature. So all that's in the book.
Okay. So I've heard of it in terms of just admittance, but not as in the terms of class profile, because typically, the kids will rank themselves. They'll get their SAT scores and then say, well, the schools, they'll fish for the schools, and the schools will reply based on those scores and whatnot. So I just assumed that they kind of would know. So I like that aspect of breaking it down and to the, bitty parts, so they can really understand what they're up against and what they need to accomplish. That's ingenious. I like I like it when you can take something, and break it down and to layman's terms, and they can understand it and appreciate it and grow from that. Wow. Okay. So I'm sure, what do you think the parents are feeling about it?
I think that the parents will see what pitfalls higher education leaders deal with on a day-to-day basis. I describe an instance where I was working really hard at a company and was up for a promotion, but the leadership sent me a text message and said, I'm not getting the promotion because I am expecting a child. And so it talks about how there are going to be issues in life that your child will face even after they get their degree. Sometimes parents are only thinking, how can I get my kid in college? Because after my kid goes to college, they'll have their degree and then these jobs will fall into their lap. No, they're still going to have to deal with the pitfalls of the world. Like they're still going to have to deal with imposter syndrome and survivor's guilt and cognitive dissonance. And by the way, I know those terms are lofty and we don't use them every day. So the book also has a glossary of those terms so that it doesn't matter who's reading it, they'll understand what I'm referring to. And they're able, and the reader is able to identify how it relates to them. Okay. So yeah, parents will love this book because it goes beyond just getting admitted into college. It also talks about life after college and things that a lot of first generation students may face that they didn't expect. I know for myself, as a first generation kid, I thought everyone who goes to college is super smart. And because of that, they can use that to be marketable. And because of that, they'll find great jobs. But it's not that easy. In fact, you might have to work harder because you have that education, because you'll have to continue to prove yourself to your employer. So yeah, that's in here too. It's a really good read.
Now, did you cover non-traditional students?
Absolutely, I did. Thank you for asking me about that because because my mother. So I'm a first generation college student, Faye. My mother was a cosmetologist, so she got a trade in cosmetology, and my grandmother was a medical assistant. And my mother and father actually met in a GED class. So I'm not only the first person to get a college degree, but I'm also the first person to get a high school diploma in my immediate family. So my first 10 years out of the 15 plus that I've been working were at trade schools. Schools like ITT Tech and DeVry and Vatterott, schools that are needed because we need students to get trades. However, schools that, in my opinion, and I talk about it in the book, are overlooked, but important. Like we need more engineers. We need more auto mechanics. We need more computer technology professionals. Those were the programs that we offered at those schools. And so I give my 2 cents about some of the issues I had when I worked at trade schools. And those trade schools happen to be for-profit trade schools. So I talked about those instances too in the book. So it's a really good page turner when you read that section.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. My husband used to do vocational schools for students that he had a booth in a mall, and they would just walk by and he just stopped everyone. All of a sudden, dude, would you like to go back to school? Would you go back? And so it affected and impacted so many of those people's lives, especially those young children. Some of them went to the military and whatnot, but it was annoying. He was that annoying person. He is the ultimate entrepreneur. Okay, so, and he would just stop them randomly. Are you interested in going back to school? Like, I'm here to shop, but but he would get them and they would go, and it made such an impact. And so I had my reasons for asking non-traditional and as well as vocational schools, because when oftentimes we would have parents come to the booth and it would just pull at me because I remember one incident where a lady had two daughters, they were twins, and one had gotten a scholarship and they were both bright. And she was in a position where she was trying to choose which one would go to college because she had never gone and she didn't know anything about how to get them in college. And one had received a scholarship and the other one was equally as smart, but just hadn't gotten a scholarship. And, you know, I was just reaching out to anyone that I could, to get them on. So your book is going to be so impactful, So,
Thank you.
and it's a reference that parents, like you said, first generational students, parents before them didn't go to school, probably like you said, didn't finish. And yeah, I think that the book is really, really well overdue and
Thank
needed.
you. Thank you.
Really, really is. And I just wish, that you can get it out to as many people as possible, especially in the college and high school areas. So is there anything that you are doing in order to get them in the hands of students before they have to make that decision? Maybe like 10th graders, ninth graders, 11th graders?
Yes, so I'm really excited that we've sold as many books as we have. And I did learn that some of the people who've purchased them are college decision makers, which is my intended audience. So
Mhm.
superintendents, college presidents, and the like. And we also got a really huge bulk order from the Sunday School Publishing Board, which was really interesting because, like I keep mentioning intended audience, but the more people read it, it seems
Yes,
that more people are able to identify with it than the intended audience, which is always a good
exactly.
thing. Um,
Yes,
because I do reference, like, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, Jeremiah 29 verses 11, because chapter 29 verse 11, because I was in a situation whereas I just did not understand why God had me in such a tough spot. But after really reading that verse, I learned that God will put you in situations and it's because he wants you to learn something. He is not Santa Claus. Like, you can't call him just for your Christmas wish list. Like, he is
yes,
deliberate in everything that he puts you through. And sometimes you are put in the fire to become something better. Like, you're refined,
yes,
you're put in these tough situations deliberately. So
deliberately.
the Sunday School Publishing Board bought the book. Some superintendents have bought the book. And to get it into the hands of 10th and 11th graders, I'll just continue to push it. I actually plan on having an announcement tomorrow on my Education Equalizer Facebook page with the
Hmm.
MTE women to offer the book with my autograph. Whereas people can actually buy it directly from my website. At this time, it's available at your favorite bookseller, but starting tomorrow, it'll be available directly from my website. And it will have, I will autograph it and I can sign it to whomever. So I think it's the perfect graduation gift
Ah,
for eighth
yes,
graders graduating to go to high school, and high school seniors and college seniors. I think it's the perfect graduation gift. So this May, we're going to have a graduation campaign, and I'm going to find time to mail the books. I've
yes.
started it off as just putting it where Amazon and Barnes and Noble, they can do the work, but I'm learning that if I'm going to recoup the money I spent to get this book off the ground, I'm going to have to sell it from my site. And I mean, people have asked for autograph copies. So
Hmm. Oh, well,
I'm
you're gonna have to send me a copy.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I will. I'm happy to. I am
I'm
happy
gonna
to.
give it mine.
Good.
But
Thank you.
oh my goodness, I just it's just so needed. And I'm such a educational buff. I love I don't really need the book because I don't ever want to see school again.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much but I love, 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 love education. I mean, I would still be in school. My daughter, in fact, right now is working on her master's degree from home, new baby, nursing, and going to school. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's
I-
tough.
yeah, she loves it.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like, but it's just that thing. So we are second generation, but my father was the only person that went to school out of 11 children. And oh, but that's a whole nother story for another day. So,
Hmm.
but many of us, his children, did not go to school right away. We just lived off the fat of the land, you know what I mean, until we realized that, oh, we probably should have did that, but
Hmm.
the requirements are so different now. And that's why I feel like your book, getting them into the hands of those teenagers, those unguided, because there's so many parents like the parent that I talked about who don't have a clue. I mean, and it's heartbreaking because they want so much, and then but for their children, but they'll just say, I don't know where to go. There's information out there now, and it's probably been maybe 5, 10 years, I would say, that these occurrences were happening, and people are more available to get information now. And, it's online, and but to have that reference, to have a guide, you break down the terminology, you make it easy for them to understand it and have that way. So, kudos to you. Kudos,
Thank
kudos,
you.
kudos. They don't call you the educator person.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so my team, after they read the manuscript, they said Carjie, because they call me, that's my nickname.
Mhm.
Carjie, you are the education equalizer. I'm like, what? They're like, have you seen
Yes.
the Denzel movies? I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. I think I've seen the equalizer. They're like, Carjie, I mean, this will really help people. Because I have a unicorn-like
Yes.
admissions experience. I've worked at trade schools. I've worked at a top-ranked PWI. And now I'm at an HBCU that I love. And so it's, I have to share my knowledge. I have to. There's so many things in this book that I wish somebody would have told me that were like life and death things. Like, I'm so glad that
Yes.
I chose to do
Yes.
X, because if I would have chose to do Y, I would not be on the path that I'm on. And
Ah,
so I was very intentional when I wrote it, and I put my failures in the book and I put my successes in the book because I want to help the people who need it. So
that's so
hopefully it
awesome.
all pays off.
I,
I hope
I
it
I
pays
just want
off.
to be there with you when you're in that high school talking to them kids. That's what
Hmm.
because you were in administration, so yeah, this is your lane. This is your lane.
Hmm.
But I feel your passion. Well, is there anything else that you could tell people out there that perhaps want to publish a book?
Oh yes. I was, for me, what kept the phrase that was always in the back of my mind that kept me moving, because again, I was very transparent in this book. This is the story of the things that I've gone through and everything I've learned to help others. But there are some things that I was afraid to share. So what was in my mind was, do it afraid, do it afraid, just do it
Do it
afraid, just do it
afraid.
afraid.
Like
That was
that.
my mantra this entire time. And even now, it's still do it
Ah,
afraid. I mean, I still suffer with this imposter syndrome associated with being now a best-selling author. I would have never imagined myself being a best-selling author, like never in a million years. Yeah, because
ah,
my writing has always been questionable, but I guess not anymore, because you know, and that was why I started the blog, was because I wanted to build community, and I wanted my voice to be heard, and I wanted to narrate my story so that others would narrate it for me. So I would tell aspiring authors like myself, because this is what I needed, was do it afraid.
do it afraid. I like that. Do it afraid. So often I hear, yeah, just do it, get to
Mhm,
it, write it.
mhm.
But wow, that goes a little bit deeper. That punches you a little bit more. Do it afraid.
Yeah,
No
remove the
excuses.
barriers, right?
No
Remove the
excuses.
excuses. Make your mistake. Like, who
Yes.
cares? Like, just do it.
Yes.
If it's on your heart, it's on your heart intentionally. Like, there's a reason.
That's
It's not a coincidence that it's on your heart
yes.
to make it happen. So just make it happen. Just do it afraid. That's what I had to keep telling myself. So and now I'm starting to see the fruits of my labor.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And I'm so happy to have had you here and to share and get to know you and meet you, outside of our little platform. So, but I would love to have you back once you are punching it out and knocking it out and getting recouping your money, like you said.
Yes, thank you, Faye. Thank
tell
you.
me
I would
all
love
the,
that.
tell me all them kudos and give us some pointers on how you got it out there and made it a great success.
Yes.
Success. So, with that being said, I am going to let you go and get on your day. It's a beautiful background that you're at. Are
Thank
you going to be
you.
out walking or
I hope
something?
so. We're talking at the perfect time because I'm on my lunch. So I
Oh, awesome.
yeah, so this is just my back patio. I'm just sitting outside.
Oh, okay. Wait, I'm glad you texted and everything. But thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so honored and blessed, and you right up the alley of the fields that I love, education. So I thank you so much for considering. And you just have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you for putting this on and the time it takes to make this happen. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And I will be sending you my address because I want my book.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I got you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, I didn't even show you my little. Well, we're gonna be off anyway, so I do my little. I do children's books, so that's how I
Oh,
do it.
yes. Okay, we have
It's
to
my
do a
little
book swap.
baby.
Let's do a book
Yeah,
swap.
yeah, yeah. I'll send my little babies, and it's Comfort Legacy series about me and my grandma when I was growing up, and my grandson writes it with me. He co-authors. He's 4, so
Oh,
so what I do is he may do something that sparks a memory for me, and then I share a story with him, and then he um, gives me his feedback to start and the end, and so I put that in the book. So he thinks he's a real co-author, and he's so proud of himself. So, but
that's
yeah,
good.
it's fun. Do you have any children?
Yes, I have a 6-year-old son. Oh, a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. A 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna send them a whole box.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
the whole gift box and everything. That
Okay.
is so awesome. Okay, my dear, thank you so much. And we
Thank
will
you.
talk again, okay?
Looking forward to it. Thank you,
All
Michelle.
right.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.